Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream today. And we're going to talk today. It's going to be a bit of an unusual one because I want to talk about something that's somewhat worrying in nature, but I also want to give you solutions. I want to tell you some of the positives that will come out of it as well. Because one of the things we are seeing at the moment is this huge loss of jobs. I don't think any of us can really deny this anymore. It's become undeniable. It's even people who have blind spots around the job losses as a result of robotics, AI, and other economic indicators that are going on. Even those people are starting to notice it now. And, most of these videos come out of me when I'm out in public on a day-to-day basis, overhearing conversations, having conversations with people. And this was one of the conversations I had today with a lady. She talked about how worried she was about her job because where she works, they are about to start introducing these autonomous robots to assist. And they have this timeline and plan for how this is going to work. And there's redundancies coming. There are retraining packages, but she was saying that she thinks her and most of her friends will not be involved in the retraining packages because they don't really understand all the advanced stuff with the computers and things like that. So I wanted to talk today about a lot of this. This could be a long video, it could be a short one. We'll have to see. Before I forget, quick shout out to the people who have enrolled in the new program. We've had Eveldas, Matthew, Amy, Adrian, Maurice, Olivia, Wolfgang, Veronica, Antoinette, Stephen. Gosh, the list goes on. So well done for getting those places today into the program. So I want to start by going over a couple of articles with you, and then we'll start to build upon this, and we'll go right the way through, and we'll look at where some of these robots and AI are at the moment and what's happening with some of the jobs. And it'll all start to make sense. And then we'll sort of go into UBI and the forecast for universal basic income. But the good news is there are solutions to a lot of this. It's just really about taking those relevant actions, because one of the things I often see, and I was speaking to this lady about this today, was I said, well, what is your plan for this? And she said, what do you mean, what's my plan? What can I do about it? And I tried to explain to her, you can do a lot about it. It's, you're not 70 years old at this point, or 80 years old, or something where you're kind of at that retirement age. You're still fairly young. You could still do something about this. And it was really interesting because we got into a lot of topics about what she likes to do and how she likes to spend her leisure time and all this. And I felt good today from having this conversation with her, because by the end of it, she had all these fresh ideas at things that she could do in her retraining package and all this other stuff. So there are solutions to a lot of this. And we've just had a few things come out. We'll whiz through a couple of these articles, but we've just had this come out from the US, because we always talk about the US because the US leads a lot of the world because they're the reserve currency. But they're still holding rates where they are. And the concern is that this could jeopardize economic growth. Why is this? Well, I told you we're going to whiz through this. It's really due to unemployment at the moment. So what we're seeing is a rise in unemployment throughout not just the US, but in a lot of Western nations. We are seeing rising unemployment. And although it's fairly complex to explain everything around it, there's a lot of things going on which are a lot more straightforward. So they're talking about this huge pool of jobs that they can't fill in the US. And this is why I think the reporters that were asking the questions were getting confused, because they said, I don't get it. How can there be millions of these job vacancies that you can't fill? And again, I think it's like something like 2 million. It's between 700,000 and 2 million. They can't quite get it right on the figures. Everyone's arguing over it. But they're saying, how can you keep saying that you can't fill all of these jobs when there's so many people on unemployment? And some of it's because a lot of people don't want to work. And we talked about this is habits, 30 days to form a new habit. Certain people stopped working and realized they didn't have to work during lockdown periods, things like that. Other people have not been able to get back into jobs. Other people have been displaced in jobs. Other people have been pushed down in terms of wages because there's a lot of people coming in from other countries and all sorts of other things. Now, that's not the main reason. I'm just giving it as one small point there. But what's happening is wages are not keeping up with inflation. And there's a lot of issues coming down the line as well. And this is why they're talking about UBI. So this is the current unemployment rate. It's about 4.1% for the US. And it is climbing. We can see it is going up. Not dramatically, may I add. It looks like it on this chart. But it's gone up from about 3.7, 3.9, dropped to 3.8. And now it's up to 4.1. So it did go up 3.94%, 4.1. So it's not huge, but it's enough. It really is. We're also seeing all these business bankruptcies. So they've jumped 34% in the first half of 2024. We did videos on Red Lobster and all the other stuff here. But this is, let's get into this as well. So Google's AI visionary, who many of you will know when I talk about him in a moment, says we'll expand intelligence a millionfold by 2045 thanks to nanobots. This is where it gets really concerning to me. Drop in the comments what you think, but to me this is concerning. He said the tech will resurrect the dead and we're all going to live forever. Now, in this article, it doesn't go into that, so let me just explain what they're talking about there. He's talking about this escape velocity on the medical tech, and this is going to come about, in his opinion, as a result of nanobots. So that's how you get escape velocity, and he has sort of timelines on that. I'll see if I can grab it in a second. But it's something like, arguably, it's something like 2045 they think is going to be escape velocity, but other people think it's going to be 2030. This same year keeps coming up all the time. And in terms of what he's saying, resurrecting the dead, they're already doing this, which is really weird, in my opinion, where they're taking people's writings, and he did a program himself where he took his father's writings and notes and put it into a program, pictures and all sorts of other things, and the AI recreated his father and he was tweaking it and all this. And this is the other thing. He said this is going to be a massive industry, and a lot of people are talking about this. And this is why a lot of people are not concerned about all the jobs, because they say, well, we'll make new jobs. Look, we'll do this. This is one example here where we'll bring back loved ones, and this will create tens of thousands of jobs and all this other stuff. So it's really bizarre, a lot of this stuff. But actually, in what I was just talking about, the program, for those of you who are in the program right now, this weekend we're going to release chapter 5 and 6. So you'll actually understand all about this next wave of AI and AGI. And I break it all down in terms of jobs as well, and which jobs are going to be hit first. And then we go on to the next module and we talk about how to actually get over all of this. But this is what this is Ray Kurzweil. He's one of the most bizarre interviews I think I've ever read. So I'll just give you a couple of snippets of this, and then we're going to look at some of these robots and some of the other stuff that's been developed. He said computers would reach human-level intelligence by 2029. By the way, this guy has been on point, so accurate for his predictions. So it is worth actually taking seriously. A lot you take with a pinch of salt, but he's been quite accurately. And he said that we'll merge with supercomputers or computers and become superhuman by 2045, which he calls the singularity. Now, if you don't know what the singularity is, many people call this ASI. So you got AI, AGI, which is general, and then ASI, the singularity. And he thinks it's coming quite quickly. So does Elon Musk, a few others do. Others think it could be 50 years away. But either way, if you've seen Skynet and you've seen Terminator, that's like the worst case scenario for ASI. But I think AGI is going to be the most disruptive that comes in. And I did a full presentation on this. So if you're in the Patreon, you've already seen that hour-long presentation. But I think this is going to be really, really disruptive, the AGI, because it's going to wipe out so many jobs. And the CEO of OpenAI recently said it's going to wipe out 300 million jobs very, very quickly as well. So again, that hasn't been developed yet, but it's only a matter of time before AGI comes in. And the humanoid robots are already starting to do a lot of the jobs. Now, I was listening to an interview by a CEO at one of these robotics companies, and I thought it was really bizarre what she actually said, because The question was, aren't you worried that you're taking all of these people's jobs? You're going to wipe out millions of jobs. And she said, no, not really, because I don't think it's good for people to be doing these jobs anyway. You know, like lifting heavy things or working on building sites and all this other stuff. She said, you know, people shouldn't be doing that. We need robots for that sort of work. And it made me laugh because I remember just last week I was speaking to my chiropractor because, long story, I've shared it a lot of times. I've still got a bad back from the army and it's almost better. It's almost fixed, but I still have to go in and get it tweaked and things like that. And well, I see two chiropractors, one male, one female, and they both say the same thing. They said, Neil, you need to keep your body moving. You need to be, you know, doing stuff, lifting stuff, doing all your exercises, things like that. Because if you just sit around and you're on your laptop and you're researching and you're streaming and doing everything else, your muscles are going to seize up, which is why I like to move around and do exercise and lift heavy stuff. So I thought that was quite ironic that this lady said on this interview, people shouldn't be doing that. Lifting things, no. Working on a building site, no. People don't need to be doing jobs like that. Oh, no. And it just told me how out of touch a lot of these people really are with the real world and real jobs. They're sort of living in this cuckoo land, I guess, this sort of, it's a very privileged sort of white collar jobs, as it were, cuckoo land CEOs. Obviously have never been to, you know, Middle East and Southeast Asia and Africa and South America and, you know, the rest of the world, basically. It's an unusual one. So what else has he said then? He said that he's actually the principal researcher and AI visionary at Google, by the way. So he said then, human level intelligence generally means AI that's reached the ability of the most skilled humans in a particular domain. And by 2029, that will be achieved in most respects. AGI, AI that can do everything that any human can, but to a superior level. AGI sounds more difficult, but it's coming at the same time. Now, that is one that I find really difficult to grasp, that it is coming at the same time as the advanced AI. I would have still thought it's years off, this AGI, but he seems convinced, and he's been accurate so far. And he says it's a 5-year estimate, and it's conservative. So remember, they've talked about 300 million jobs being taken by this when it comes in. He's saying 5 years, and that's conservative. Elon Musk says 2 years. So this is why I say you've got to be prepared for these changes that are coming. What's missing currently to bring AI to where you are predicting it will be in 2029 is computing power, and that's coming. So here's another one that you could look at then. And I was looking at this today because someone asked me about investments around AI and robotics and things like that. And they were focused very much on the company doing it, which is great. You can look at your Tesla and Nvidia and some of the others that are developing all this. But I would say think broader. So again, this is ways you can take advantage of some of the things happening. Don't just think that. Think of energy as well. All this stuff needs energy. It needs energy inputs. Solar panels to power some of this stuff just ain't gonna cut it. It's energy, but not just that. It's data centers. It's the components, and people are just really focused on, you know, these 2 or 3 big companies here. But you look at China. China is developing. It owns pretty much 50% of the robotics market. So China is the big player here, and they're in this arms race with the US, and it's going to be interesting to see who wins. I've kind of got my favorite there. I think I know who's going to win with the amount of resources that they have and putting into it. But we'll really have to see. But there are advantages coming as well. Now, he talked about universal. Here we go. He said about the job killing potential. Yes and no. Certain jobs will be automated and people will be affected, but new capabilities also create new jobs. Some of the examples were not great here, I will add, but he said that universal basic income will start in the 2030s, which will help cushion the harms of job disruptions. It won't be adequate at that point, though, but over time it will become so. Well, actually, UBI has already started, and they've been doing trials in all sorts of different places. And it's not just UBI, this article has just come out. As I was about to stream, I saw this article. Staff allowed to choose working hours in new trial. So this is going on all over the place, this 4-day work week. And they're saying, well, there's a lot of different reasons that they are giving around this. Some of them are saying that, let me get all this off the screen as well here now. If you're going to grab the course, you're going to grab it. You don't need to see the banner, the whole video. Some of them are saying about this 4-day work week, oh, it's for people's mental health. Really? The UK is the worst mental health in the world. Fact, you can look on the World Index. So they're saying that this is going to reduce it. I just don't think that's the reason. I think there's a lot of other things going on that's causing the worst mental health in the world for Brits. And Americans and some others are not far behind, Europeans as well. But this 4-day work week is another one. They think this is going to be the solution to the robotics and everything else. Again, I just don't see it. I really don't. I've looked at a lot of these trials for the 4-day work week. And if you can do it and you can work this and you're happy with it, great. If you love your job and you're happy to do a 4-day work week, great. Go ahead and do it. If you don't love your job and you're looking for something else, check out the program. Not to pitch it too much in one video, but check it out. It'll teach you how to replace that and actually have some security. But I am concerned, with all the stuff coming down the line. They think this is going to be the savior. UBI and a 4-day work week. That is not what built some of these successful companies. It wasn't this at all. You've got lots of different people are trialing this out now, this 4-day work week. But let's move on to the robots then. Here we go. The market for humanoids is set to balloon to 38 billion in the next 20 years. I think it's going to be even bigger than that. They said it's going to be vital for manufacturing and dangerous work, but would also help with elderly care and fill in labor shortages in factories. So if you're in these industries right away, you know that they're coming for your job. A labor shortage, okay, 8.5 million jobs. I was way off then with what they were even talking about on some of the articles I was reading. So they're saying 8.4 million jobs. The gap, okay, in manufacturing, the gap is 500,000 people, so 500,000 people, up to 2 million workers by 2030. And I wanted to show you, this was the new Tesla robot. This is the generation 2 of the Optimus that's just come out. Come on, get on with it. Here it is. Now this is a lot more advanced than the last one, much smoother. And they've even improved the hands a little bit more now. And Musk was talking about how he thinks this is going to boost as well Tesla's valuation massively. He thinks it's going to be worth half of the S&P soon enough. I don't know about that. Which else? Okay, military usage. Military usage for these as well. That's scary. You don't want to see that on the battlefield. Tesla's new robot here. And I wanted to show you a couple of clips here that I thought you'd find interesting. Here we go.
Even greater than the cars.
Let me slow that down. Normal speed. Here we go.
Some also argue robots like Digit can solve the world's labor crisis, filling jobs that are too dangerous or that people simply don't want. They may even replace an aging workforce as people around the world have fewer kids.
Today in manufacturing, we're short about 300,000 people, and it's something very similar in warehousing and logistics. So we're somewhere around 600,000-700,000 jobs we can't fill.
And then the next bit that was interesting from this video was this one.
Proponents is Elon Musk. He's made some bold predictions that Tesla's robot Optimus could propel it to a $25 trillion market cap, and that it will amount to a majority of Tesla's long-term value, with demand as high as 10 to 20 billion units.
Tesla is arguably the world's biggest robotics company because our cars are like semi-sentient robots on wheels. And with the full self-driving computer and all of the neural nets, it kind of makes sense to put that onto a humanoid form. And it's intended to be friendly, of course, and navigate through a world built for humans and eliminate dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks.
Musk isn't alone.
And then we got one more clip here.
By Oregon-based Agility Robotics is helping Amazon in early-stage testing at its Sumner, Washington Fulfillment Center and Innovation Lab.
We've been working with them recycling totes.
The arms are capable of handling a wide variety of different payloads, up to about 33-ish pounds.
Agility says it plans to keep expanding the scope of work that Digit is capable of.
So there we go. A little bit of an interesting, different video for you today, because I wanted to share a lot of these concerns and thoughts. But remember, there's also opportunities with everything. Whether you have a lot of money and you're looking to invest it, whether you don't really have much money at all, there is a lot of opportunity no matter where you are on the scale. There's investment opportunity at this side, and there's huge opportunities. If you're at this side and you think, I don't really have much going on, actually you'd be very surprised. Even some people that I meet that think they haven't really got any skills or anything going on, this new world that we're moving into, you don't want to be on the scale of the UBI and getting kicked out your job and stuff. You got to plan for this now. So, hey, I've done a positive video for once. It isn't doom and gloom. So we can have some good comments today. But yeah, you can actually prepare for this now. I've been thinking about this a lot today for everyone across the spectrum. There's a lot of positivity that can come out of this. You just got to prepare for it now, start thinking into it. And you should have a positive future. We all should, especially if you're a subscriber on this channel, because there are a lot of things we all can do. So it's not all negative. But if you bury your head in the sand and you just let this, happen, then yeah, there's going to be a lot of problems ahead. All right, well, thanks for watching today. I will see you tomorrow for the walk and talk, although the weather has not been great today, so let's see, it might be a wet one tomorrow. All right, take care, God bless, and I'll see you tomorrow.